And very excited to be joined by a well-moisturized Nate Hobbs up here on the set. It's good to see you, Nate.
Good to see you too.
I wanted to ask you too, like on kind of a serious note. I was going through all the stats this morning, getting ready to come talk to you, and one thing that like stood out to me is just the percentage of snaps that you've played defensively. Like you have played a lot of football through the I guess the first quarter-ish of 2024. Just like physically at this point, as we kind of turn the page to October and start looking ahead in November, like how are you holding up physically?
Like Tom talked to us today. I'm sure you were there and everybody else was there. He said football is hard. It's a hard game every day. It's a grind. It's supposed to be hard. You know what I'm saying? That's why we the top of the top. That's why we on TV every week. That's why we get paid what we do. So you got to figure out a routine for you that works for you. And not only is a routine, it's mental. Most of this is mental, you know what I'm saying? And if you can find a routine mentally and physically, then you could do it.
Has that routine changed for you from when you're a rookie, young dude coming into the league to where we are now?
Absolutely. I think when I was a rookie, I was probably getting like maybe a massage a week, if that. Sometimes I was, thugging it, going in games with, almost no body work. But now I get almost 3 massages a week. And I just try to stay on the mental part of my aspect of my game too, more than anything.
And I was thinking about just kind of the state of the DB room, right? And it's obviously you and JB and Jack, and you talk about kind of that growing and that maturation and kind of figuring out like what works for you. Well, you look at Jakorian, a guy this year, there was so much conversation surrounding him coming into this year, and a dude who through 6 games is playing some really good football, right? Like, where have you kind of seen him, I don't want to say mature, but kind of tweak and evolve in kind of his preparation for a game?
Yeah, there's a big smile on my face just while you talking about that because I feel like JB, he took a lot of heat last year where I feel like it wasn't rightfully so. I think he was a rookie and he got thrown in games, you know what I'm saying? He started some games, didn't. Some weeks he didn't even practice on with the defense, and he had to play that game. You know what I'm saying? It's a tough league to do that in. If you don't have your groove, they just throwing you out there. You know what I'm saying? Without too much preparation, and you go and guard a number 1 receiver in the NFL. So to watch his growth and maturation is it maturation?
Yeah, I think yeah, we'll go.
Yeah, let's go maturation.
Yeah.
You
This
know
sounds
what I'm
good.
saying?
You were rolling, man. I'm gonna let you go.
To watch him take that step and just really block out the noise, man, it's been crazy to see, and I'm so proud of that dude, bro. I just been talking to him since day one, and he's really, I feel like becoming a man in front of our eyes. So,
how hard is it? I mean, obviously, being a DB in the NFL, AP's talked about it all the time. Like, you are not gonna shoot 100%, right? Like, everyone's gonna get beat. Everyone's gonna get beat, sometimes. But like, for you, like, how hard is it? I guess how hard was it for you to see JB have to go through? Not that he wasn't capable of doing anything, but like kind of just that realization, that understanding of like, hey man, like I'm gonna have to figure out a way to block out this noise to be the best version of myself for this defense.
It's only a small percentage of dudes who don't go through that, that period of time where, you know what I'm saying, like I said, maturation in their game that don't get picked on, you know what I'm saying, or don't go through a phase where they don't feel like they're the person that got them there, you know what I'm saying? Most people go through that, but it's, only the Deion Sanders and the Champ Baileys where they just come into the league. Pat Surtain right now, he came into the league smooth. That's going to translate like that, but most guys, they got to have that development period. So
yeah, and I think that's all of us, right? Like, regardless of what you do, right? You guys 100%. Just have a few more eyeballs on you than most of us and don't have the kind of luxury of developing in the shadows and kind of being able to mess up and not have it in front of millions of people. But, looking ahead to Sunday now, right? We heard from AP earlier today, and he was talking about this Rams offense, and he said, they're obviously a super talented group, but he goes, one thing that is ultra challenging about them is that McVay does such a good job of kind of giving you that eye candy, right? And showing you something that isn't necessarily, going to be the ultimate result of that play. Like, as a DB, right? As someone who's got to make sure your eyes are where they're supposed to be at all the times, like, what kind of challenges does that eye candy element of this offense bring?
If you if you undisciplined and you got undisciplined eyes, it's gonna be a tough day. It's gonna be a rough day for you. You know what I'm saying? And I myself, I've had, you know what I'm saying, a couple days where it's been rough for me early on. And, you know, even if I'm not focused or locked in, you know what I'm saying, every day, it's going to be a rough day if your eyes aren't right. So you got to come into the game expecting something. You know what I'm saying? You got to come into the game, do your homework. Okay, I know it's going to be emotion in this play. I know it's going to be a shift. I know it's going to be, my eyes are going to have to transfer from this key to that key to that key. And I just got to know this coming into the game and trust myself to react. That's why you train during the week. That's why you don't take plays off during the week. That's why you don't just BS practice, you train. So when it comes to the game, you're ready for those motions, you're ready for those shifts, and your eyes can be where they're supposed to be. You can play fast.
You know, and obviously everything that starts on that Rams offense begins with Matt Stafford, right? And every single week is the challenge in the NFL to go up into the quarterback. But this is a dude who's going to go to the Hall of Fame when all is said and done. Like, when you take a look at him, even now, you know, so far into his career, like, what's made him so good at this for so long?
Yeah, that's crazy. They said out there in practice, like, one of my coaches says this is like a 16th year.
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy.
To me, still balling
like,
too, right?
Come on, bro. Still balling, like, still doing his thing, having his way. You know what I'm saying? When he wants to. So, you know, shout out to him. Not a shout out, but shout out him. Forget you this week, but you know what I'm saying? He's doing his thing, and it's hard to as a younger team and a younger group to go against somebody of that who has that much wisdom and that much experience, you know what I'm saying, and try to disguise looks and do things. That's why we got to be very detailed with somebody like him, because he's detailed. If you're not as detailed as him, you're not going to win the game.
Yeah, I mean, and we hear from AP, we hear from Luke, and we hear from Pat Graham all the time about the importance of those details, but this feels like a week in particular where being on the P's and Q's is ultra important. But, you know, I'm interested, too, just kind of from your perspective as a DB on this team, just to hear about Jakobi a little bit more, right? Like, so much going on the past couple of weeks, and AP talking about Jakobi now going to have even more of an opportunity to go out there and ball. And we see it on Sundays about Jakobi being effective in the run game, obviously super sure-handed, a dude who's been so reliable for this team. Like, when you see Jakobi in practice day in and day out, obviously not today, but, like, just generally speaking, like, what about him has kind of stood out to you?
Since day one, I feel like Jakobi, since I've seen him, I'm in the slot a lot. He's one of the best slot receivers I've seen in the NFL, period. If you're not a top tier guy, you probably can't guard him. Just keeping it real, I haven't seen anybody who's not a number one corner really take him out of the game. You know what I'm saying? He's so sure-handed, he's tough, physical, elusive, can run after the catch, dash for, like, you know what I'm saying? The list goes on and on. Releases are crazy. Short area quickness, this is all he got. He has it all. You know what I'm saying? So now, you know, now that things have happened the way they've happened, everybody knows how they've happened. It's just a light for him that he deserves, you know what I'm saying, to be featured as a number one guy. Yeah, and that he's earned.
Yeah, and we're all excited to kind of see what that looks like. But dude, it was so good to see you, man. Obviously, anytime you come up here, it's a lot of fun to catch up with you. So best of luck, man. Continued success. We'll talk to you soon, all right?
Appreciate you, bro.